I will now recognize the gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Clarke, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning to everyone. And thanks to all of our witnesses for joining us today to discuss changing the election security landscape. Before I begin, I'd like to just offer my well wishes to our chairman and friend, the gentleman from Mississippi, Mr. Thompson. We wish him a speedy recovery, a full and complete recovery, and hope to see him soon. I thank the chairman and ranking member for calling this hearing to address threats against election officials and infrastructure. This is an issue that I myself and other members of this committee have raised for a number of years, and the importance of addressing this now has only been underscored by the excellent work done by the January 6th Select Committee. Protecting the safety of the folks responsible for carrying out our most sacred democratic processes, our local election officials and election workers, is of paramount importance. Recognizing this, CISA provides a number of voluntary physical security assessments and trainings that can help local election officials enhance their jurisdiction security. Secretary Toulouse Secretary Toulouse Oliver and Mr. Kelly, how effective are CISA's programs on physical election security, and what additional assistance from CISA would be most beneficial to you and individuals in your capacity? And then finally, how can CISA's role be expanded to better help states and local governments strengthen their physical election security posture?
Thank you, Congresswoman. First and foremost, I just want to say that CISA and DHS have been absolutely incredible partners with election officials like me around the country for the last several years. Primarily, of course, for several years on the cybersecurity front, but here in my state, and I know in many other, if not most other states across the nation, we also take advantage of the physical security tools and resources that are provided to us. I think that, the very first piece of that puzzle is to conduct these assessments. We have been working together in my state, and I know many others have, to conduct those assessments, because without assessing the situation, we don't know exactly what we need in order to keep our poll workers safe and our voters safe out in the field, and our election officials as well. So I think, like everything we've been doing on the cybersecurity front and the physical security front, as we go through elections and as we continue to see what we need and what circumstances we are dealing with, CISA has been able to develop and adapt and improve those resources that are available to us. I don't have a specific recommendation at this point other than we should continue that work. CISA should continue that work in partnership with our offices. And as has already been mentioned today, funding is critical. Elections are critical national infrastructure, and a state like mine, it goes a very long way for us to be able to secure our election environment.
Very well. Mr. Kelly, anything you'd like to add?
Thank you, Congresswoman. I'll keep it brief. I agree definitely with what Secretary Oliver has said about the services. Just very quickly on the ground, I have a 200,000 square foot campus that I was responsible for in Orange County. And CISA DHS came in and did a very detailed assessment on that and identified dozens of areas where we could improve physical security. And the one thing that I would add is that improving from CISA the use of the same assessments for our vote centers and those that work in the vote centers would be very critical and important.
Thank you both. Ms. Howard, in your testimony, you call for Congress to fund efforts to develop and conduct online safety training. Can you elaborate on how you see this program operating?
So election officials' personal information is often available online. And there are consultants who can provide training and information about how to protect your personal information, how to protect against doxing. And there are services where they can go out and proactively assist the election official with pulling down and taking down that information and scrubbing it. There are a variety of steps that election officials can take, and putting together a training that provides a checklist for election officials just about common sense practices that they can implement on their own would be a step in the right direction.
I thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.